sucking it out of me. Because they were like 6 foot something. And I was like, there's no need to be this tall.
That's just ridiculous. Calm down.
Yeah. But in high school, it was like they were ready to fancy girls and ready to do other things. So, and I was like ready to read some books, you know. So that was really different. And then I think as I went through high school, I like, you know, like the gays, they band together. So I started to kind of
the
find
gays, they band together. I love that.
Should have that t-shirt. But
stick together.
So I kind of began to like, but I don't know, it wasn't like even in like school, it wasn't really talked about, and nobody really knew, like even the people who like did end up being not straight or whatever, like it just wasn't a conversation you had all the time. It was still the whole like, oh, you're gay, like don't be gay. I remember somebody said that to me and I was like, what if I am? Yeah. And they were like,
what the fuck
they didn't know what to say to that. They were like, ew. Yeah. And all my friends were like, are you? And I was like, I don't know, I'm 12.
I might be. Give me time.
Give me like 5 years, I'll tell you then. But yeah, like towards, I think like I really started to sort of think about gender around high school, because I like was convinced that I was like, oh, I'm like meant to be a boy, because if you're like not feeling the vibe with being a girl, then you just, you know,
it's like there's only two options.
So I was like, right, let's do that. So I would try and be really masculine, and I would dress kind of boring.
Did you have school uniforms, just out of curiosity?
We did, but our school was terrible at regulating them. So really, sick. Like as long as you wore as long as you wore like a white shirt with the tie, I would wear jeans like all the time, and they'd be like, take those jeans away and wear trousers. But I'd come in the next day with jeans and they'd be like, I'm tired of telling you this, so I'm just gonna like
sick.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. Like they weren't strict. They tried to be strict, but they just didn't work. Nobody gave a shit. But yeah, so I did try and like dress more, and like got my hair cut so short, like not in a good looking way short, like bad. Like I think I put gel in it at one point, which is just bad. But we all go through that in the 2000s, okay?
My ponytail phase.
Everyone goes through a bad high school hair phase, and I'm not.
I just tied my hair back all the time.
That's probably but that's
ponytail.
Like that's not embarrassing. That's reasonable. That's just like getting out of the way.
No, literally, people would comment and be like, "Why the fuck do you always have your hair tied up?" And I was like, "Because my mom doesn't let me straighten it, and it's curly, and I don't like it." So
this is efficiency. Like
this is efficiency.
This is efficiency. Well, it kind of is.
It really is.
But yeah, and I tried all that, and I realized that like trying to be really, really masculine was just, I was basically not being me. Because I love masculinity and femininity. I think they're both such brilliant things. I think it's such a shame that we think that they have to mean anything. Like you should just be able to do whatever the fuck you want.
For sure.
Like dress any way you want. Like fashion is so brilliant. Like why do we have to like regulate it so much, you know? It's just like we should just express ourselves, but unfortunately that's like not how we decided to do it, which sucks, but I hope that changes, you know.
I feel like it is.
And I think it is changing. It's
Harry
changing.
Styles wearing dresses, and like
Tyler,
the Creator, loads of guys.
Loads of guys, definitely. Like Billy Porter, he's amazing. His stuff at like big events are crazy. But yeah, and then there's actually a lot more, like there is a lot more non-binary like famous people now. Actually, like I mean, Sam Smith, like they came out.
I'm obsessed with him.
I mean, a lot of people don't know it because you know they present very amazing. Masculine, and they just think, you know, that's you know. But no, Sam Smith, and you know, there's lots of TV shows now that have like sex education.
I was gonna say when they talk about season, the uniforms, I watched that and I was so. If you haven't seen it, it's a very good educational show.
Because me and my flatmate, Sex Education.
I love it.
It's a comedy series on Netflix.
Like high school.
It's so fantastic. It talks about things in the most brilliantly scripted way. It makes embarrassing things relatable because it is.
Stuff
and
like even anal douching. I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it taught me so much.
You're like, this is how I clean my bumhole.
They talk about
they don't
sexual
talk about
abuse as
any
well.
of they talk about everything in that show, and it's like they should just not hire PSE teachers and just play that in schools.
Literally,
because it's literally so great, and it makes
good.
people feel less ashamed about things. But in series 3, there are 2 non-binary characters in it.
Yeah,
and I have watched some shows. You know, there was like Lachlan Watson is a non-binary actor who was in Sabrina the Teenage Witch series on Netflix.
Yeah.
They are amazing. I love Lachlan Watson.
Which character does he play? I can't remember. Me and Maggie watched it.
Well, the thing is, the character is also trans. It's Susie, and then I can't remember Theo,
the best friend.
So that's Lachlan Watson, who's actually non-binary.
That was so. I was like so proud when that happened
really
on the
show. There's things popping up, and of course there's things like obviously like Pose came out on Netflix. I've not finished watching it, but. Like there's that, and
there's
that's
a new
fantastic.
season out as well. Like,
so the media, like the portrayal of trans people used to be so horrible. They would use it as a mockery, or like, and a lot of time they use it as a mockery of like people of color. And it just is amazing now to see media that has it and portrays it so like we're just human beings. Like that's literally all it is. But in Sex Education, there is a scene where one of the non-binary people, like, because a lot of people, it's called binding, where you like bind your chest. And a lot of people don't know that there's like bad ways of doing it. So
I didn't know that.
So the character basically uses bandage tape, like
almost like if you break your ankle type thing.
And a lot of trans people who want to bind their chest have used that, and it can break your ribs. It can disfigure your body shape. It can damage your breathing. Can give you asthma.
I didn't know any
so
of that.
bad
because it's pressing your
into your lungs.
Like
So there is like actual a thing called a binder, which is like a safe. It's kind of made out of a similar material as like a corset. And it's the same like with corsetry. It's like if you make a really bad one, it's going to be bad for you. But if you get one that's designed to fit your body and it's not too small and it's perfect for you, then it's not going to be bad for you. So binders are the same, and in season 3, the character like gets a binder, and me and my flatmate were crying because this has literally never been put in. Nobody knows about that shit. The only people who know about that stuff are trans people
or people living it,
and maybe some cosplayers because you know they like to like gender bend. But. That was crazy. So like seeing that stuff in the media, like if I saw that stuff when I was a teenager, like you know, even just like a few years ago, I would have been like, holy shit. But there wasn't. So the difference between, you know, I'm only like I'm 21 this year. That was only like a few years ago. Like, exactly. And the crazy difference between even then and now is just insane. And it's amazing. I'm thrilled.
Makes me excited, like for the
really
future
excited.
in a way, like because then it's just getting more. And again, because I love animation as you do. You're an animator.
I am an animator. By the way.
I've even. That's why I have like, so if you don't know me, I've got like a big She-Ra tattoo on my on my chest, and the reason why is because obviously I love the character, really identify, but it also I watch the show with my kids, and it has so many like non-binary characters. They have like they have no, like they only have one relationship that's a boy and a girl. All the rest of them, it's like, oh, it's like meet my dads, and it's like this boy who has
so
two dads.
Normal, and it's like
they don't question it.
But it's not even like I love that. There's no discussion, like of sexuality. And
it's just like
people are.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And so many animations and anime and cartoons are starting to do that. And
it's really beautiful.
It's
like
amazing.
Where does She-Ra come from? Do you know? She-Ra is like an old 80s, an old 80s like TV show. So it's like He-Man. So She-Ra is like He-Man's sister.
Oh, she was
so
actually
She-Ra
a
used to
character.
have her own TV show, and He-Man had his own TV show now. And then they basically took She-Ra and they like redid it like DreamWorks. I love DreamWorks. It's my favorite like animation kind of style.
Hire me any day, DreamWorks.
Yeah. Literally. But yeah, the main characters are like a girl and a girl. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's a love story in a sense between them two. And I just felt like yeah, and I just thought it was so beautiful. And it's like towards the ending, it's just like, it was really nice seeing the kids like watching it with them and then just having these conversations with them. Like, they never asked like, oh, why is that? But it like kind of brought it up for me to have the conversation with them and be like, yeah, like I actually, you know, like you can like girls, you can like boys, you can.
I think your kids are at an age where that conversation just becomes more prevalent.
Yeah,
like,
I think
they start
like 5. Yeah,
I think they start noticing things about people or being told certain things. I mean, like I have nephews as well, and I mean they're not my kids, so I do feel a bit like I can't.
Yeah.
But if they ever ask me questions, I'm like, hello.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Just like casually bring it up.
Casually. Yeah. And just things
like kid sense.
I think people are raised in so many different ways. It can be, you know, your parents can have different politics. Your parents can have different cultures. You know,
exactly.
There's so many different ways to be brought up nowadays. And you know, a lot of the people I've met who don't really get it, which is fine. Or struggle with it, usually it is because they either come from a culture or a religion that's just different and they don't have much of a structure. Because in English it's quite good, you know, we can kind of language-wise. And, you know, religion does obviously like come into it no matter what race you are or colour you are, like religion's for anyone really. So, but yeah, like it's just to be able to have a conversation, I think.
Exactly.
And to let people know about it.
Yeah.
And I don't really mind if people don't understand it. Like if somebody, like, you know, I have family who don't get it. Like I have a huge family. There's so many of them. It's hard to get it around actually. But
yeah, what was your wider circle like when you were growing up?
I think it's weird because I have a really big family. So I probably still have family who don't really know that I'm non-binary, to be honest. But it's that way, it's like,